Have you ever watched a film and thought, wow, that shot feels cinematic? But why does it feel that way? Because composition isn't just about making pretty frames, it's about story, emotion, and meaning. And today I want to show you 4 powerful ways filmmakers use space inside the frame to shape emotion subconsciously. They are deep space, flat space, limited space, and ambiguous space. And once you understand these, you'll start seeing them everywhere and using them like a pro. Let's get into it. If you're new here, my name is Miguel Parga. I'm the best-selling author of What They Didn't Teach You in Film School and Make Your Own Movies. And I've been teaching people how to make films that matter for the last 18 years. Most filmmakers think composition is about symmetry and balance, but great composition is actually about psychology. It shapes how free the character feels, how trapped they feel, how much mystery there is, how much tension we can create. So instead of asking, does this shot look good? Try asking, what emotion should this shot create? And that's where these 4 spatial modes come in. Let's start with the first one. Deep space is when the area behind your subject extends far back into the frame. There's depth, distance, room to breathe. Think wide hallways, streets, large interiors, open rooms. This kind of space creates the illusion of freedom. Subconsciously, we feel openness, potential, movement. It also naturally invites push-ins and push-outs with the camera. Our brain wants to travel through that depth. One of the best examples of this is in All the President's Men, especially the newsroom scenes. Rows of desks stretch into the distance. Characters move through space. The story feels like it lives inside a real, breathing world. We feel like the characters are small pieces of a much larger system. And here's the key thing. Deep space equals possibility. Even when the story is tense, the characters still feel mobile, able to move, able to search. So when you want your characters to feel like they still have options, use deep space. Open frames, visible depth, movement into the distance. It creates cinematic oxygen. Now let's crush that oxygen. Flat space is the opposite. This happens when your subject is right up against a wall or surface, with very little visible depth behind them. Suddenly, the character feels boxed in. Movement feels restricted. Energy compresses inward, and that creates emotional pressure. Flat composition also encourages lateral camera movement, sliding left or right instead of pushing in or out. One legendary use of flat space is in Old Boy, in the hallway fight, right? Everything is framed flat and sideways, like a side-scrolling video game. There's no depth behind the character, just wall. So instead of freedom, the world feels like a trap. The character can only go forward or backward. No escape, no air. Flat space is perfect when your character feels stuck, trapped, contained, watched. So when you want to increase psychological tension, push your subject towards the wall, compress the frame, flatten the world. Instant cinematic claustrophobia. Now things get interesting. Limited space is a blend of deep and flat space. There's depth, yes, but there's also something blocking or constraining it. Think door frames, windows, pillars, tight rooms with depth beyond. You can see versions of this in Fellini's 8.5, right? Here's a character flirting with freedom of thought. Does he obey the precepts of religion, or does he set himself free with his imagination? And another great example of this is in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the interview scene. Notice how on one end the characters are framed by the corner. They are set in their ways. But her character, she's framed with limited and sometimes deep space. It's brilliant. With limited space, there is room to move, but also restriction. It feels like possibility wrapped in limitation. Emotionally, the character is almost free, but something is holding them back. This is brilliant for morally trapped characters, people stuck in limbo, characters on the edge of transformation. It's visually saying you can see the world out there, but you're not fully part of it yet. Limited space is subtle but powerful because tension lives in the boundary. Finally, ambiguous space. This is when the audience looks at an image and for a moment, they don't know what they're seeing. Maybe the scale is unclear, the angle may be strange, the focus is confusing, and then the camera pulls back or it refocuses and we finally learn what it is that we're looking at. One of the most beautiful examples of this is at the beginning of The Piano. The film opens with what looks like an abstract image. Then slowly we realize we're seeing the world through a character's fingers and they're covering their eyes. Ambiguous space creates curiosity, mystery, slight disorientation. And for a brief second, the audience leans in. They're going, wait, what am I looking at? Then when clarity arrives, there's a mini reveal there. Use ambiguous space when you want to surprise the viewer, create intrigue, momentarily destabilize perception. It's storytelling through visual suspense. So, quick recap. Deep space equals openness, movement, possibility. Flat space, pressure, confinement, psychological tension. Limited space, freedom inside boundaries, emotional limbo. And ambiguous space, curiosity, mystery, and discovery. These aren't rules, they're just tools. And once you start seeing them, you'll never compose the same way again because your frame becomes the story. If this helped, like and subscribe. And if you want to make films that genuinely move people, not just look nice, stick around. I'll show you the simple frameworks I wish I had when I started. And if you feel like you've poured your soul into your work, but it's still not landing the way it should, let me help you level up because every great film starts with the script. In my course, From Meh to Masterpiece, I break down the hidden code behind stories that actually work. The link is below. And remember, don't just direct your movies, direct your life.